So let's say you saw my other AGV review and you said, hey, I love AGV so much, why don't you look at their AX-8? It's the most popular thing ever. Here it is. This is mine. This one I've actually really loved. This I got to replace after my mini accident when I smashed up my MSR Expedition. I really like that MSR. I think it's cool. It is a very big helmet and it is fairly heavy for what it is. But I do like having what I call a piss bucket. It's just a helmet that you can strap to the bike and walk away from without worrying about someone kicking it, you know, maybe pissing in it, just molesting it altogether. I wanted something that was cheap and that could be fairly easily replaced. At the same time, I'd heard a lot of good about this AX-8. I ended up getting this one for a relative steal. It was like a floor model demo. I think I got it for like 144 bucks or something. So I'm personally still trying to get out of the idea that this is a cheap helmet. I know for a lot of guys it's going to be an expensive one because if you buy it at sticker, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $380. I think $380 is a bit much for what is essentially just any other dual sport helmet. Granted, it does what the other ones do in a lighter, more stylish fashion, but you're still paying a lot of premium. These graphics are ones that I applied myself. I found a place online that has like packages of them and they just have random shapes and stuff. I don't even think they're meant to be applied this way, but I didn't really like having an all black helmet that's essentially invisible, so I wanted to give myself a little extra margin of safety. So these are all retro reflective. In the daytime they're pretty much worthless as far as getting you seen or noticed. You're still going to need something like a bright green or orange or, you know, dragon dildo purple. Otherwise no one's ever going to see you. But these things just, at least to me, look pretty cool. I ended up kind of messing around with their kit and just put it on in a way that looked pretty appealing to me. So I got it for $144, you pay $380. As a $144 helmet, freaking stellar. It's amazing. It's the best. You're going to be hard-pressed beating it, especially with something that gets you as much field of vision, as much protection, all that. For a $380 helmet, depends on how much you really like the dual sport lifestyle. The things that really bug me about it are like every other dual sport helmet, and I'm sure they do this because of safety. They use the screw-in inserts in order to keep your shield on. That's all well and good. I will tell you, the ones on my MSR lasted all of 0.3 of a second before it was ripped off my face. I remember hitting the pavement head first. I smacked it about here, and I came up and I was like reaching for my visor, not noticing that it totally wasn't even there. That's not really good for your eyes, especially if you like end up in a face slide where you're just blasting debris into your eyeballs. Maybe these will be better. Now, keep in mind, this is chromed, but it is plastic. And there's nothing I trust less than cheesy plastic, especially in a wreck. I would prefer that to be metal, just saying. What's really odd to me is you can tell I've taped over them here because the peak I got with it was all busted up, not really use the peaks anyways. These, I think, are metal. This whole system, not too excited about. I would prefer something that's quick release. As you saw on my AGV Horizon review, I don't like these little plastic insert shims. I think they suck. They're pretty much worthless. You can tell this one's really tight right now. I'm still breaking this little pair of them in. On my AGV, they've lasted less than a year, maybe 6 months for each one of these, then you have to buy new ones. I guess everyone kind of just takes that as, you know, playing the AGV game. You have to replace these every so often. I'm still not excited about it. Something that does bug me about pretty much every dual sport helmet I've ever used, they put a peak on it, which I don't have here because it was, again, I got this for 140 bucks, so like half price, and the peak was just shattered on it, so worthless, I threw it away. You have this peak here, and it sounds like it'd be really useful, but they always limit it in how far it can go. So it's kind of like wearing a baseball cap, and your eyes are down here, and you just have it like canted up at a 45-degree angle from your hairline. Kind of worthless. I can never get them down. I mean, I would love to be able to have like a full-on adjustability or some kind of system where I could bring it down like that. I know maybe sometimes it'll be in my eyes, but guess what? I'm driving a damn motorcycle. Give me the freedom to pick how much field of view I want. I think if I can handle that, then I can handle using a helmet and a baseball cap. Not a big deal, but for some reason they always do it, and I'm sure it's a liability thing. So more adjustability and a peak would be really good. I do love the field of view, and honestly, that's really what sold me on this helmet. I was just in the market to replace the MSR, and I was going to do it with another one, and I decided to look and see if there are any that were out there for cheaper. This is basically just a replacement for that, something that I can use as a dual sport roll, not be afraid of getting dirty, not be afraid of really beating on as much as something like my Horizon that's a full-on touring helmet, has a lot more expensive optics. Of course, I shot myself in the foot by getting another AGV because this is about $70 to replace as well. So I was thinking, hey, I want one that's iridium, or I want something that's, you know, at least kind of tinted so I'm not staring at people, because you know how much I hate that. Even worse, because even more your face is exposed in here, which just drives me crazy. You know, because little kids will look at you in the cars and you can't like look over surreptitiously and give them the stormtrooper stare. Instead you just have like your scared eyes in it going, I don't know what life means. Ridiculous, I hate it. But I'm not going to pay 70 bucks just to get this tinted. I'm not going to do it myself. So instead, my personal solution, if I can find them somewhere in here, are using these very old Nebo X glasses. These are so cool. You can even see my fat head in it. I'm trying to do this as quietly as I can because I know some of you guys are on really sensitive microphones. This is kind of my makeshift solution. These glasses you've seen in some shooting vids before. These go in pretty well. They block a lot of your eyes. They have some really good wind protection. I want to say these are about 10 bucks on Amazon. If you want to just look awesome all the time, go ahead and wear them just in public because they're totally ass-stompingly cool. As a backup kind of pair of riding glasses, they're really nice. In the wintertime, they fog like a beast. This one I've even done anti-fog coating probably 2 or 3 times. Pretty much worthless. This whole system, it flows air really well, especially if you have this open. I mean, it's basically open face helmet with just a chin bar. You're not going to have fogging problems in the winter. I don't know, down 20 degrees, this entire thing will begin to fog first, but you'll still be able to have a field of view. If you have glasses on, those fog anyways, it doesn't even matter. This whole system in the front, the chin bar, this is really cool. I'm still in the phase where I can't remember which way is open or closed, so I have to judge based on wind. I do like how they put this like mini filtering like foam in there. I'm sure it's pretty much worthless. The thing that does bug me is this up here. This is just cheesy foam as well. I do like it, and then I hate the fact that it's kind of cheesy foam on what is basically a $400 helmet. I'm not so excited about that. But I am excited about the fact that it doesn't hold as much dirt in it. You know, when you go riding in a dual sport helmet, you come back and you leave it, you end up throwing it on just to go riding to school or work or something. And this entire thing smells like dirt no matter what. You can never get rid of it. This kind of minimizes that, I think, because my other one had like a cloth face there and it tended to just accumulate and I'd have to blow it out. It was a big cleaning thing. I think they've thought that through a lot on this. This gator is very nice. I just wish these shields were cheaper, especially for a dual sport helmet. You kind of tend to go through more of them. You get them scratched, they get dirty, nasty, they get just beat up. So why not make it cheaper, especially for a cheap piece of plastic or, you know, like saying whatever the hell this is. It's not that tough, especially when they haven't really changed the helmet that much or that often. It's a pretty good seller for them. I think they could kind of make a lot less money on it, but their customers would be happier, which is always a terrible business tactic. Other than that stuff, it flows air really well. These vents up here, just like the other AGVs I've seen, these are awesome. I love them. They're simple. They have enough tension in them where you know that they're activated or deactivated, and they don't just wiggle themselves out. They don't rattle. They don't make any noise. Just simple, totally works awesome. This one as well also works pretty well. I think that's the little screw to put the peak in there. If I can ever find another peak, I may put it on, but honestly, if I can't bring it down super far, I would love it to come down maybe to about here. You know, my eyes being about here. I've just been riding before when you're riding into the sun, you need it really low. They don't let you do that. Instead, you're sitting here with this like freaking pork pie baseball cap up here. Worthless. I mean, it's basically style. All it does is get in the way when you're doing, you know, lane changes and you're turning your head at speed. That sucks. There's really not much else to say about it. It has the standard AGV quality. It's got the awesome liner in it. Really comfortable. Flows air very well. This whole material is a little more porous than the touring ones I've seen of theirs, the sport ones. I'm not sure why that is. I will tell you, this stuff does grab face hair like a mofo. It'll rip little virgin patches of skin off of your cheeks if you're not careful. So watch out for that. You may want to do like a straight razor shave for the first little while as you're breaking it in, because it will kind of have to contour and conform to your face. These things do seal off noise pretty well, at least. You have some pretty generous ear cups in here. Not as generous as their touring helmets. You still have enough space for earphones. It may push them in a little bit if you're using foams or plugs or whatever. One reason I do like the dual sport helmet things, you'll notice we use those hit air vests a lot and other neck braces when we're off-road. Any of these off-road helmets worth their salt, they're also going to have these little spaces in the back where it doesn't really tuck up as much, because you're not going to be in like a sport haunch where your back's right here and you're pushing this in. They want good contact there to protect your neck, especially if you're using a brace. You know, something like the AGV Horizon or one of the sport helmets, you don't really have any contact area there. If you're just kind of wandering around, this entire thing has nothing to mate with, so it just kind of comes down and bangs into it. Pretty much worthless. Whereas if you use something like a dual sport and you're always doing neck protection, which is smart of you, you're going to have a lot more surface area to engage with. In my little accident, I actually had my MSR and it had even more portion than that. It kind of has a triangular space in the back that mates in. I think that really helped save my neck there, because I just lawn darted like head first into it. and I felt the hit air thing kind of compress, and because it inflates a cervical collar there, and it kind of does that. I was really grateful for that. I'm really glad I didn't toast my AGV on that too. So really glad I brought my piss bucket that time. That's honestly about all I can think of for this. What would make the AX-8 series a lot better is if they did actually sell it at about a $200 price range. Maybe if they even like just gave you this kind of treatment on these visors. Like everything else, cheaper visors. Give me some way of doing quick release on this, make it secure. It's possible. It's the year 2014. I think we can start designing things that don't rely on pennies to screw in and out. Also, the cheesy plastic things, keep using them if that's all you got. I'd rather have just quick detach, be able to swap this out with clear and, you know, cool iridium or something. That's about it. That's all you need to make this helmet really awesome. As far as communication stuff in it, I haven't put any in. I'm sure you could jam a cent in here just like anything else. There isn't really a super cutout for it. With all the air that's going to be blowing in here anyways, you're not going to be able to hear much, and no one else in your party will either. So everything else about it's awesome. That's the AX-8 Dual. Get it for cheap. I'm sure you can find some floor models like I did. I mean, everyone else has already put it in, so you're going to have like male pattern baldness hair all in it, but you can just deal with that, especially if you're saving like 150 bucks. You can buy like mail order steaks with all that money. That'd be really cool. Anyways, that's helmet review number 2. Tactical Doodle out.